Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak on something deeply powerful, something so subtle yet so strong, so quiet yet so impactful: silence. Yes, stay silent and everything will come naturally. We live in a world full of noise, constant chatter, endless opinions, pressure to speak, to act, to prove ourselves. But in that rush, we often forget the real magic lies in stillness, in silence, in patience. Silence is not weakness, it is strength in disguise. It's the space where ideas are born, clarity is found, and peace is nurtured. When you stay silent, you begin to observe more and react less. You begin to listen, not just to others, but to your own inner voice, your intuition. And that's where true power lies. When you're silent, you don't force things, you allow them. You don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you build. You don't react, you reflect. And with that calm reflection, life begins to unfold naturally. The right people, the right opportunities, the right paths, they all begin to appear. So next time you feel the urge to prove your worth with words or chase life's outcomes with anxiety, pause, be still, be silent. Trust that what's meant for you will come, because when you stay silent, everything you need will find its way to you naturally. 10 key points. Number 1. Silence brings clarity in stillness. We find answers we miss in noise. Number 2. You attract, not chase. Calm energy draws in the right people and situations. Number 3. Less reaction, more reflection. Silence helps you respond wisely, not impulsively. Number 4. Inner peace is power. Staying calm in chaos shows real strength. Number 5. Observation leads to wisdom. The quiet observer sees more than the loud talker. Number 6. Patience makes things unfold naturally. What's meant for you will come, without force. Number 7. Words are powerful, but silence is louder. Sometimes the best message is no message. Number 8. Your energy speaks volumes. Actions and presence often say more than words. Number 9. Stillness fuels creativity. Great ideas are born in moments of peace. Number 10. Trust the process. When you let go and stay silent, life has room to work its magic. 1. Silence brings clarity. Expanded in today's fast-paced world, we are constantly surrounded by noise, not just physical noise, but mental noise too. Social media notifications, endless conversations, opinions, expectations, stress, and the constant pressure to do something. Our minds become cluttered with external voices and internal doubts. And in the middle of this chaos, we often lose sight of what we truly feel, want, or need. That's where silence steps in, not just the absence of sound, but the intentional stillness we create for ourselves. When we embrace silence, we create space in our minds. It's in that space that clarity begins to emerge. Like muddy water that settles when left untouched, our thoughts become clearer when we allow ourselves to be still. In silence, we start to notice the things we previously ignored. We reflect on our choices, our values, our goals. We begin to distinguish between what is noise and what is truth. It becomes easier to recognize what really matters and what's merely a distraction. Silence also deepens our connection with ourselves. Instead of looking outward for answers, we begin to listen inward. Our intuition, often drowned out by daily distractions, starts to speak louder. And that voice, our inner wisdom, guides us toward better decisions, healthier relationships, and a more fulfilling life. This clarity doesn't come instantly. It comes in moments of silence when we disconnect from the world and reconnect with ourselves. Whether through quiet walks, meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in stillness without distractions, silence becomes the bridge between confusion and clarity. Most of the time, the answers we seek are already within us. We just need to quiet the noise long enough to hear them. 2. You attract, not chase. Expanded in our pursuit of success, love, recognition, and fulfillment, we often fall into the trap of chasing. We hustle non-stop, push relentlessly, and run after people, opportunities, and outcomes as if our worth depends on how fast we move or how much we achieve. But the truth is, chasing creates desperation, and desperation repels the very things we desire. There is a quiet, powerful shift that happens when we stop chasing and start focusing on becoming, when we invest in our growth, our mindset, our energy, and our peace. Instead of running after things, we become a magnet for them. This is the essence of attraction. It is not about sitting back lazily or being passive. It's about aligning yourself so deeply with your purpose and values that the right things naturally find their way to you. When you stop chasing, your energy changes. You're no longer trying to prove something. You're no longer seeking validation. You begin to live with calm confidence, knowing that you are enough as you are, and that what is meant for you will resonate with the person you're becoming, not the person who begs or forces. People feel this shift. Opportunities feel it too. There's something incredibly attractive about someone who doesn't need to chase, someone who carries themselves with quiet assurance, someone who knows their value without shouting it. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means your action is intentional, not desperate. It means you plant seeds and water them with patience, instead of digging them up in frustration every day to see if they've grown. You focus on building yourself, your skills, your mindset, your character, and life begins to respond in kind. In this way, silence and stillness become tools of alignment. They help you ground yourself in who you are and what you're becoming, rather than losing yourself in the noise of pursuit. The more you align, the more you attract without having to chase. 3. Less reaction, more reflection expanded in the heat of the moment. When emotions are high and situations seem urgent, it's tempting to react immediately. We speak without thinking, respond without understanding, and make decisions driven by impulse rather than insight. But quick reactions often lead to regret. They come from a place of defensiveness, fear, or ego, not from wisdom. That's why silence is so powerful. It creates a pause, a sacred space between stimulus and response. In that space, we don't just react, we reflect. And reflection allows us to look beyond the surface, to question our assumptions, to understand the deeper reasons behind our feelings and the actions of others. When we reflect instead of reacting, we begin to see the bigger picture. We realize that not every comment needs a comeback, not every situation demands a dramatic response, and not every disagreement is worth our energy. We gain emotional control not by suppressing our feelings, but by understanding them. This is emotional intelligence in action. Reflection helps us process experiences more deeply. Instead of jumping to conclusions, we ask ourselves, why did this trigger me? What can I learn from this? How can I handle this in a way that aligns with my values? These questions shift our perspective. They turn moments of tension into opportunities for growth. Moreover, when you practice more reflection, your words carry more weight. People begin to notice that you don't speak just to fill silence, you speak with purpose. You gain a reputation for thoughtfulness, for being someone who listens deeply and responds wisely. And in a world filled with noise, that kind of presence is rare and respected. Silence gives you time to think. Reflection gives you the clarity to act. Together, they keep you grounded, focused, and in control, especially when the world around you is trying to pull you in every direction. 4. Inner peace is power expanded in a world that constantly equates power with dominance, control, and loudness. We often forget that true power lies in inner peace, the quiet confidence that comes from being centered, calm, and unshaken, regardless of what's happening around us. Inner peace is not the absence of chaos, it's the ability to remain composed in the midst of it. It's the strength to stand still when the world is rushing, the clarity to think clearly when emotions are high, and the wisdom to walk away when your peace is being compromised. Unlike external power, which depends on status, position, or influence. Inner peace is self-generated. It's a state of mind, a choice we make every day to protect our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. When you possess inner peace, you're not easily triggered. You're not thrown off balance by someone else's opinion, nor are you easily swayed by life's ups and downs. You become grounded, rooted in your values, your vision, and your self-awareness. This makes you resilient. It makes you unshakable. It gives you the ability to respond with wisdom rather than react with fear. Peace within creates strength without. People who are at peace with themselves exude a quiet strength that speaks louder than aggression ever could. They don't need to dominate conversations or prove their worth through arguments. Their calm energy naturally earns respect and trust. They can navigate conflict without losing control, lead without ego, and inspire without noise. Inner peace also enhances clarity. When the mind is calm, solutions come easier. Decisions become wiser. You begin to operate from a place of balance rather than stress or desperation. You start attracting more harmony into your life, better relationships, clearer opportunities, and a deeper connection with yourself. But inner peace doesn't happen by accident. It requires boundaries. It requires silence. It requires letting go of things you cannot control and focusing your energy on what truly matters. It is a daily practice of tuning out the noise of the world and tuning in to your own heart. 5. Observation leads to wisdom expanded. In the rush to speak, to act, to be noticed, we often forget the immense value of simply observing. In silence, when we choose to step back instead of stepping forward, we gain access to one of life's most powerful tools, awareness. Observation is not passive, it is deeply active. It is the art of paying attention not just to what people say, but how they say it. Not just to what is happening, but why it's happening. And when practiced with intention, it leads directly to wisdom. When you become an observer, you see what others miss. You notice body language, tone, energy, patterns, and details that are invisible to those too busy reacting or speaking. You learn to read between the lines, to understand the deeper motives behind actions, and to recognize subtle shifts in your environment. Observation teaches you patience. It teaches you perspective. It teaches you that not everything needs to be challenged or commented on. Sometimes it's more powerful to simply watch and learn. The wisest people are rarely the loudest. They're the ones who listen more than they speak, who think before they act, and who analyze before they judge. They don't jump to conclusions. They gather information, assess the situation, and then respond not with noise, but with insight. This doesn't mean they're passive or withdrawn. It means they choose their moments wisely. They understand that knowledge comes from seeing clearly, not just speaking constantly. Observation also builds emotional intelligence. It helps you understand people on a deeper level, their fears, their hopes, their pain, and their strength. You become more empathetic, more intuitive, and more strategic. In conversations, you're not just waiting to talk, you're absorbing, interpreting, learning. In life, you're not just rushing forward, you're noticing the signs, the lessons, the opportunities. In a world that encourages quick reactions and constant output, choosing to observe is revolutionary. It puts you in control. It sharpens your thinking. It elevates your awareness. And slowly but surely, it transforms everyday experiences into deep wells of understanding. 6. Patience makes things unfold naturally. Expanded in a culture driven by instant gratification, quick results, and overnight success stories. Patience is becoming a lost virtue. We want everything now: success, recognition, love, growth. And when it doesn't come immediately, we start to doubt, panic, or force things to happen. But what we often forget is that the most beautiful and meaningful things in life take time. They are not the result of pressure, but of natural unfolding, a process that requires patience, trust, and silence. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what you can with calm faith and allowing life to take care of the rest. It's about understanding that some seeds take longer to sprout, that some chapters take time to write themselves, and that growth is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. When you're patient, you align yourself with life's rhythm rather than trying to rush it. You stop pushing so hard and start trusting more. In silence, patience finds its true strength. When you step back from constant chasing and allow yourself to simply be, you begin to see how life works for you, not against you. You begin to notice how the right people show up when you stop clinging, how clarity comes when the mind is still, and how opportunities often arise when you're no longer anxiously searching for them. Patience also gives you endurance. It keeps you steady when progress is slow, when doors are taking time to open, and when you're not seeing immediate results. Instead of quitting or forcing outcomes, you stay grounded. You stay consistent. You keep showing up not out of desperation, but out of quiet belief that what is meant for you will come in its time, not yours. What patience truly offers is freedom from anxiety, from control, from the constant inner pressure to make everything happen right now. It teaches you that you don't need to manipulate every outcome or rush every process. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to plant your efforts with care, water them with persistence, and then wait in stillness, knowing that life will bloom at its own perfect pace. 7. Words are powerful, but silence is louder. Expanded words carry great power. They can heal or hurt, build or break, inspire or discourage. But as powerful as words are, there is something even more commanding, more profound, and more impactful than speech: silence. In many situations, silence speaks far louder than words ever could. It carries weight, it carries presence, and it often communicates truth with far greater clarity than noise. Silence is not emptiness, it is full of meaning. It is a deliberate act of restraint, of wisdom, and of strength. When you choose to remain silent, especially when provoked, challenged, or tempted to respond impulsively, you demonstrate an inner power that words cannot match. In a heated argument, silence can disarm aggression. In a moment of uncertainty, silence can signal reflection. In the face of ignorance or negativity, silence can represent maturity. Often, we are conditioned to believe that we must always speak to be understood, to be respected, or to have influence. But true influence doesn't always come from speaking more. It comes from speaking wisely and knowing when not to speak at all. The ability to pause, to think, to hold back words until they are necessary and meaningful is a sign of deep emotional intelligence and self-mastery. Silence also gives words more value. When you do speak after being silent, people listen more closely. Your words carry more weight because they are not used carelessly. They are not diluted by overuse or thrown around without thought. Your silence creates a contrast that makes your voice more impactful when it's finally heard. In relationships, silence can be a powerful communicator. It can express pain without yelling, love without words, or boundaries without confrontation. In personal growth, silence helps you connect with your deepest thoughts, helping you sort through emotions, understand yourself, and make decisions rooted in truth rather than reaction. There's a reason why the most powerful moments in life are often wordless: a quiet stare that reveals everything, a deep breath in a time of chaos, a still presence in the middle of noise. In those moments, silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, it means everything is happening just beneath the surface. 8. Your energy speaks volumes. Expanded long before you open your mouth to speak. People have already felt your presence. They've picked up on your energy, the invisible but powerful force that radiates from your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Whether you're aware of it or not, your energy communicates louder than your words. It tells others who you are, what you carry within, and what kind of space you create when you walk into a room. This is why silence, stillness, and inner alignment are so important. When you're calm on the inside, your energy is grounded. You become someone who brings peace rather than chaos, who offers steadiness rather than noise, and that energy leaves a lasting impression. People may forget what you said, but they won't forget how they felt in your presence. Your energy is shaped by your mindset, your emotions, your past experiences, and your present awareness. If you're filled with anxiety, anger, or insecurity, it shows even if your words are kind. On the other hand, if you carry peace, confidence, and authenticity within you, people can sense that too even when you say very little. That's the power of aligned energy. It speaks for you without you needing to prove anything. When you stay silent and centered, your energy becomes even more noticeable. You no longer need to explain yourself, defend your worth, or shout to be heard. Your calm presence does the talking. It tells others that you're not desperate, not easily shaken, and not seeking approval. It tells them you've done the inner work, that you are clear on who you are, what you value, and what you will or won't allow into your space. People are naturally drawn to that kind of energy. It's rare. It's magnetic. It offers safety, strength, and depth. In relationships, your energy sets the tone for connection. In leadership, it sets the standard for respect. In daily life, it shapes the quality of your experiences and the people you attract. This is why silence is not emptiness. It's a container for powerful, unspoken truths. When you operate from a space of inner peace, your very existence becomes a message. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard, because your energy already speaks the language of confidence, clarity, and self-respect. 9. Silence builds emotional strength. Expanded emotional strength isn't about pretending to be unaffected, nor is it about suppressing your feelings. True emotional strength comes from understanding your emotions, managing them wisely, and choosing your responses with care rather than impulse. And one of the most powerful tools for developing that kind of strength is silence. Silence gives you the space to process what you're feeling without being overwhelmed by it. In moments of anger, frustration, sadness, or confusion, speaking too quickly or acting without thinking often leads to regret. But when you step back into silence, you create a buffer between what you're experiencing internally and how you choose to express it externally. That pause is not weakness, it's discipline. It's a sign that you're not letting your emotions control you, but instead, you're taking time to understand them before deciding what they truly require. In silence, you become your own observer. You begin to ask yourself the deeper questions. Why am I feeling this way? Is this reaction based on the present moment, or is it rooted in past pain? Is this worth my energy? This reflective space allows you to respond from a place of wisdom, not reactivity. And the more often you do this, the stronger your emotional core becomes. Silence also strengthens your resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges, disappointments, and heartbreaks your way. But when you've practiced stillness, you've built an inner foundation that doesn't crumble easily. Instead of breaking down, you slow down. You allow yourself to feel without drowning in emotion. You give yourself permission to grieve, to heal, to breathe, all without needing to perform or explain your process to others. Emotionally strong people are not those who never feel pain, they are the ones who know how to carry it gracefully. And grace often comes through silence. It's the quiet strength of walking away from drama, the silent courage of setting boundaries without needing to justify them, the calm power of knowing your worth even when others misunderstand you. Silence becomes your shield, not to hide behind, but to protect your peace while you navigate the storms within. 10. The universe responds to stillness. Expanded, there is a mysterious yet undeniable rhythm to life, a natural flow that connects everything around and within us. But in our need to control, to constantly move, fix, and force outcomes, we often lose touch with that rhythm. We become so busy doing that we forget the power of simply being. Yet it is often in the still, silent moments that life begins to shift, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically in our favor. Because the truth is, the universe responds to stillness far more than it responds to chaos. When you quiet your mind and still your spirit, you allow space for clarity, intuition, and divine timing to enter your life. You're no longer clouded by the noise of doubt, the clutter of overthinking, or the pressure to act just for the sake of action. In stillness, you begin to hear the whispers of your inner voice, that quiet, guiding force that always knows what's right for you. It is through this deep listening that you align with the greater intelligence of the universe. Stillness is not stagnation, it's presence, it's awareness. It's the conscious decision to stop chasing what you think you should have and to start trusting that what's meant for you will find you not through panic or pressure, but through peace. This is when synchronicities begin to appear. The right opportunities, the right people, the right answers, they show up not when you're frantically searching, but when you're grounded enough to receive them. It's in moments of silence that breakthroughs are born. Some of the greatest ideas, realizations, and shifts in energy come not when we're talking, planning, or pushing, but when we're resting, reflecting, and allowing. That's the subtle magic of stillness. It opens the channel between you and the unseen forces of life. It puts you in a place of receiving rather than chasing. And in that space, you become aligned with a deeper current, one that moves with precision, wisdom, and grace. The universe doesn't operate on the clock of your urgency. It moves according to alignment, energy, and readiness, and stillness is what prepares you. It allows you to tune into the frequency of what you truly desire rather than what you've been conditioned to want. It helps you reconnect with your intuition, the voice that gently nudges you toward the path meant for you. In silence, that voice becomes louder. In stillness, that path becomes clearer. And slowly, without force, life begins to unfold not just as you planned, but often even better than you imagined. In a world that constantly demands noise, movement, and urgency, choosing silence is a radical act of strength. It is not weakness, it is not retreat, it is the highest form of self-mastery. When you stay silent, you listen more deeply, you see more clearly, and you connect more truly, not just with others, but with yourself and the universe. Let silence be your teacher. Let stillness be your power. Let your calm presence speak louder than your words ever could. Because when you trust the process, when you quiet the noise, and when you allow life to unfold naturally, everything that is meant for you will begin to move toward you, not through force, but through flow. So stay silent, stay grounded, and stay patient. Everything will come not all at once, but always right on time. If you found value in this message, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of inspiration. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how silence has helped you in your journey. And share this video with someone who needs a little peace and perspective today. Thank you for watching. Your support means the world. Stay silent, stay strong, stay growing.